Imagine this for a second. A kid with empty pockets, worn-out clothes, and bare feet walking on a rough road every single morning. Not because life is easy, but because quitting was never an option. His name was Ethan Miller, and he grew up in a small rural town somewhere in the Midwest of the United States, miles away from bright city lights and big opportunities. Ethan didn't have sneakers like the other kids. His hoodie was faded and torn, and his jeans were patched more than once. But deep inside him lived something powerful, a dream that refused to die. Every day, Ethan walked nearly 3 miles to his public school. In winter, his feet froze. In summer, the gravel burned his skin. The road was long, lonely, and unforgiving, but he never missed a day. While other kids talked about video games and vacations, Ethan dreamed about inventions. He wanted to create something that could change lives, even in a small way. His dream was simple but meaningful. He wanted to build a solar-powered lamp. Ethan's mom worked long hours selling homemade food at a roadside stand. At night, their small wooden house was almost always dark because electricity was expensive and unreliable in their area. Ethan hated watching his mother cook and count money under candlelight. That darkness bothered him more than hunger ever did. So he made a promise to himself. One day, he would bring light into their home using the power of the sun. He began searching through trash bins, abandoned garages, and junkyards. He collected broken radios, tangled wires, cracked batteries, and old phone parts that no one wanted. At night, while other kids slept, Ethan sat at a shaky table outside his house, trying to connect wires and make sense of things he barely understood. His first attempt failed badly. The battery overheated, smoke filled the air, and the paper on the table burned. His heart dropped, but he didn't quit. He tried again. The second lamp never charged. The third one fell apart the morning of the school science fair. When he brought it to school, kids laughed. One boy said, "You should just help your mom sell food. You're not an inventor." Another said, "You'll never build anything important." The words hurt more than the long walks ever did. Ethan felt his throat tighten, his eyes burn, but he didn't run away. He didn't argue, he simply went quiet. That night, instead of giving up, Ethan went to a local grocery store and asked for old newspapers. He read stories about famous American inventors, people who failed again and again before they succeeded. He wrote notes in a beat-up notebook. He even visited an elderly man in town who used to work as an electrician. Ethan asked question after question, even when his voice shook. The old man looked at him and said, "You really want to learn, don't you?" Ethan nodded and said, "I just want to help my mom." The man smiled and replied, "Then don't stop." Days turned into weeks. Ethan kept building with scrap metal from broken fans and discarded tools. He often ate very little, but he worked relentlessly. His hands were always dirty, his fingers covered in small cuts, his eyes heavy with exhaustion. Still, his heart burned with determination. Then one day, something unexpected happened. The school principal walked into class and announced that a tech entrepreneur from California was visiting the school. His company was looking for young innovators and offering a life-changing scholarship to one student. The classroom exploded with excitement. Everyone started whispering and planning. Ethan stayed quiet in the back, staring at his hands. Later that day, his friend Emily walked over to him and said softly, "This is your moment. Try one more time." Ethan looked down at his scarred hands and nodded. That night, he gathered every broken part he had. He rewired everything carefully. He tested it once. Nothing. He fixed it again. He waited. The small lamp stayed on for 1 hour, then 2, then 4. It worked. The next day, Ethan walked into school carrying his invention inside a cardboard box. Students presented drawings, robots, and toy cars. When it was Ethan's turn, his hands trembled. "This is my solar lamp," he said quietly as he switched it on. The room filled with light. The judges leaned forward. The entrepreneur stepped closer and asked, "Where did you get these parts?" Ethan answered honestly, "From trash people threw away." The room fell silent. Then the man smiled and said, "This is exactly what we're looking for." Ethan won. Newspapers across the state shared his story, a poor American boy who built light from garbage. He received a scholarship to attend a top science school, and his solar lamp design was later used in homes across his town. Kids could study at night. Mothers could cook safely. And Ethan? He kept building. Life will knock you down. People will laugh. You will fail. Maybe once, maybe 10 times. But winners aren't the ones who never fall. Winners are the ones who stand up every time they do. If you're struggling right now, remember this. You don't need money to start. You don't need perfect tools. You just need belief, effort, and the courage to try again. No matter how many times you fall, get back up, fix what's broken, and keep going. Because one day, someone will look at you and say, "This is exactly what we were looking for."